Hi guys, welcome back to the part of the channel where I like to talk about the latest news and events that's happening in the taxi trade industry. It's been suggested to me recently that maybe I shouldn't wait till the end of the month and then give you the month's news because sometimes the news could be a bit stale. To be honest, I agree. So I'm going to start breaking the news videos down into little videos that I'll post throughout the month. This news is currently about the recent protests that are going on. So let's talk about that. Maybe remember in the previous news video when I told you that Blackpool had granted Uber a license. There is continuing animosity over this. There's been a protest outside the Blackpool Council building, and there's been a petition signed with over 1,300 people demanding that they rethink it. Some of the concerns that have been brought up is that the standards have dropped completely. Drivers are using tram lines to pick up passengers, they're parking in taxi ranks, and it seems to be a race to the bottom, similar to a car boot sale. These aren't my words, these are quotes from the people who were protesting. One of them said that some drivers have absolutely no knowledge of the local area at all and are driving dangerously down one-way streets. Despite all this, the Council of Blackpool have defended their position in granting Uber a license, saying that there is nothing wrong and that they are up to the industry standard. One of the protesters in particular stated how it's due to Wolverhampton issuing very cheap license with very little checks. Bristol Uber drivers took to the streets over the recent cuts in fares that they've noticed, where they're trying to give cheaper fares to the customers, meaning the drivers are obviously getting paid less. They're saying that in this cost of living crisis that we're in and the expenses of things, they're having to work longer and more hours just to cover the basics, being out on the road 12 hours a day, and it's unsustainable for themselves. They're saying that the commission that Uber's taken from various different jobs, trips, is ridiculously high, when smaller trips, they're not taking as much. They want to see an end to the dynamic pricing and the dynamic commission and go back to what old school drivers will refer to as rate cards. This next one is a new type of protest I've not seen before. So Chesterfield taxi drivers have protested against Wolverhampton. Chesterfield drivers staged a protest outside the town hall on Tuesday, the 8th of October, to voice the concerns about the impact of Wolverhampton licensed cabs on their livelihood. The drivers argue that the influx of out-of-town taxis is leading to the decline in the business and income. Many drivers have expressed frustration on the current regulations, which allow drivers licensed outside the area to operate within Chesterfield. They argue that the unfair competition is losing their money and they're putting their jobs at risk. It was a problem before, but it was a small problem. Over the last 2 months since Chesterfield has granted Uber a license, the out-of-town people have increased massively. I totally understand all the frustration of each and every one of them protests. I've seen Uber fares declining over the past few months quite rapidly. For example, there was a trip radar that come up for me, and it was to go to Manchester from Liverpool for £33. And that was just ridiculous. The local cab firms charge about 65, 70. And when I was originally started with Uber, the fares were similar to the local cab firm. I think a lot of this is because there's been an increase in new drivers that aren't aware of the past prices that Uber used to have. And they're just seeing a quick 30, 40 quid for under an hour. this is going to be a problem, because from Uber's point of view, they're offering the jobs and drivers are taking them jobs. So why would they offer it for more at less of a cut for themselves when drivers are currently doing it at that price? But then on the flip side, I understand drivers just trying to make ends meet. It's one of them, it's one of them things that's never going to get sorted out, I don't think, until they either do something about the cross-border hiring or they pipe down Wolverhampton. It's ridiculous the amount they're allowed to issue. There should be some type of cap somewhere along the line for the councils, so they can only have X amount of drivers at any one given time. What do you reckon, guys? Thoughts below for us. See you in the next one.